Hey everybody, how y'all doing today? Thanks for coming out and logging on, I suppose, to our webinar. This one I'm pretty stoked on. It's on a really great line that we have that you may not know about, so hopefully you could learn a little bit about it and get to hear it in person here soon. Today we're going to talk about the Blackline Powered X. It is more than just the powered Blackline series. It's really cool. We're going to dive into some of the features and really get into the speaker line that we have here. We'll begin with just like a series overview. Then we're going to cover available rigging options, go over the onboard amplification and DSPs, go over some of the system configurations and what the features can really do with this. And then we can go ahead and cover the functionality and the control app that we have for this guy. Let's start with the BlacklineX XP12 and XP15. They share several useful features. They both have a compact and durable design. They're made from real multi-angle birch and poplar. They're lightweight with built-in ergonomic handles. I've personally moved them around myself, and they're actually very easy to do with one person. The XP12 and XP15 both come with built-in pole inserts for easy throw and go use, as well as vertical and horizontal mounting solutions that are capable of really any angle. We also have an XP12 wall bracket option that is super slick and great for installs. There's an easy to remove screw-free cloth back grill, just like most of our speakers, and rotating the horn is really easy. They both share an 80x50 horn that's real simple to rotate. They both have a dedicated 1300 watt Class D amplifier. Both have onboard DSP with built-in 3-channel mixer. Each channel has a 3-band EQ and high pass filter for channel 1 and 2. And they also have some presets for ease of use and throw and go gigs. We have a full range, a setting for use with our sub, and then one if you're going to go ahead and use this as a floor monitor. The XP12, just getting into some of the specificities here. We have a frequency response of 62 to 20K, a max SPL of 128 dB. The weight is, like I said, a really comfortable 40 pounds or 18 kilograms for our international folks joining us today. It operates on anything from 100 to 240 volts AC. They include international cables as well with it, so you're ready to go. The XP15 does have a little bit lower frequency response with that 15-inch driver going down to 55 hertz. 131 dB peak level on that. A weight of only 57 pounds, like I said, real easy to get around. Same switching power supply, so we're good anywhere from 100 to 240 volts. The XP18 is a sub offering in this line that pairs well with the entire Blackline series. This is a really great sub. I can't say enough good things about this one. Actually, it's one of the most musical subs I've ever heard. That's really my favorite thing about the entire line that we have is, you know, even though it's a powered point source speaker and it comes in at a great price point, it still has that Martin sound. It's compact and durable, same build as the rest of them. Does have the built-in handles to assist with portability. It has a built-in pole socket for quick pole mounting and M10 eye bolt inserts for flying. There's 18-inch long excursion driver on this guy with a 2000 watt Class D amplifier on board, and has the same DSP with 3-channel mixer, only difference being a little bit of different presets that we'll get into a little bit later. This guy has frequency response of 42 to 150, looking at a max SPL of 137, weighs 97 pounds. You can definitely do this one on your own, but always recommend having a friend help you move this guy around. Same power supply, so if you're going international with it, you're good wherever you go. And yeah, now let's get into some of the rigging options that we have for this line. Let's start with the XP12. It can be wall mounted using the standard WB10-12 bracket that we have. This is a 2-part bracket enabling the wall section to be fitted at first, and then have cables running through it, while the second half can be fitted to the loudspeaker in advance. So when you get there, all you have to do is pin them together and go. This one will give us 45 degrees of pan, and we're looking at 25 degrees of negative tilt. Like I said before, we all have the standard top hat fittings, so you can use a standard 35 millimeter diameter speaker pole for these guys. We do have an offering in our line, the HT KCT04. Yeah, they'll work with any standard 35 millimeter pole insert, like I said before. Here are some of the eye bolt mounting options that we have for this guy. It's really cool. You could pretty much get it at any angle with the way these are set up, using M8 inserts for the XP12 and XP15 and M10 inserts for the subwoofer. Now let's go through some of the more interesting stuff here, the amplification and DSP. They all have 2 mic line level inputs that can accept 1/4 inch or XLR. There's a stereo Bluetooth input on this guy, which is actually really cool and makes for some really interesting and convenient setups that we'll get into a little later. Each channel has independent level control. Oops, sorry about that. Independent level control, 3-band EQ, like I've mentioned before. There is a dedicated XLR mix out, a preset recall for full range, high pass, and monitor, and the sub has one for the different tops, depending on which one it's being paired with. We do have a Bluetooth application that connects and gives you extended control where you can store and recall snapshots. When you go ahead and power on this guy, you're going to see the standard Martin logo pop up, and then we're going to have what's called our mixer window. This will display our fader levels, input signals, and it'll also show our signal level, excuse me, so it'll actually display a graphic on the back metering that. It'll show if it's muted by having the fader turn red or when you turn the volume all the way down. And this is what we can use to navigate between menus, all with just a simple scroll and push interface with the encoder we have here. So yeah, like I was saying, here we can select our channels. Once we select it, we can adjust fader levels. Here's the EQ that we were talking about, where we can adjust the 3-band EQ on all 3 channels and the high pass filter on the first 2 inputs. And here we also can change our presets like we've mentioned before. Getting a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of the 3-band EQ that we have, The high band is gives you 12 dB of attenuation at 6K for the first two inputs, and it's 12K for the Bluetooth channel. All three inputs will have the mid band, giving you the 2.5K frequency with 12 dBs of attenuation, and same attenuation range for the low frequency at 80 Hertz. And as we mentioned, there is a high pass filter available on the first two channels. That gets you from 10 to 400 Hertz, and it's a 12 dB per octave slope. And once again, first two channels on that one. Going on to the menu screen, this is where we'll see our presets. We'll have our Bluetooth menu, the different settings, as well as our lock menu that we'll get into later. And then if you go ahead and click on the channels, that will actually get you back to the mixer window. Going on to the presets, pretty straightforward. We do have a full range setting for the XP12 and XP15, as well as one for pairing with the XP18 and a third preset for use as a floor wedge. And that one is designed to give you maximum SPL before feedback. And then the XP118, does have the two different settings depending on which of the XP tops you pair it with. The Bluetooth menu is really great. It's super intuitive. We can pair with a Bluetooth device just like your computer, your iPhone, any tablet, pretty much any Bluetooth device that you could stream audio on. We're able to actually link two speakers together via Bluetooth and go ahead and send them either a stereo or a zoned signal, depending on which mode you have selected. If we go on to settings, here we have a setting for the screensaver that basically designates what happens after the encoder isn't touched for a 30-second period of time. And there you can have it set to dim, stay at full brightness, or turn off, depending on what situation you have them in. You can choose your home screen as well between the menu or the fader menu that we have here. And you can also decide whether or not you want to reconnect a previously paired device. If you want it to auto link with a previously paired speaker, the about section will display the firmware and ID and all that good stuff. And then of course the option to restore this all to factory defaults if needed. We do have a lock menu built in case you don't want anybody messing about inside your settings once you get them all dialed in. It's a simple 4-digit code that you can set, and if you ever forget this, you could always contact your local vendor and they could get you sorted out. So in case they're in a rental situation where you send them out and they come back locked, it's not that big a deal. And then once those, again, we have the channels option that will get you back to the mixer view. As with all modern powered speakers, there are built-in limiters. We do have built-in DSP limiters for the drive unit to protect from failure. The individual drive units use DSP limiters optimized so that their effect is not noticeable in normal use, but protect against mechanical and thermal overload. Limiters can't protect against highly clipped input signals, so if excessive distortion is heard, the level should be reduced to avoid damage. Just some common sense there. And continuing on with that, we do have very efficient Class D amplifiers in there, but all amps do produce heat. In the unlikely event of overheating, I mean, if they're installed in just a situation where they're in direct sunlight or under hot lights or just someplace they shouldn't be, there is thermal protection to ensure that you're not going to go ahead and do too much damage, and it'll go ahead and kick in until a safe operating temperature is maintained. All right, now we're going to go ahead and go through some sample system configurations and kind of show how these are more than just a powered version of the Blackline that we already have. So here we have a basic singer-songwriter setup with a single speaker. The built-in 3-channel mixer can accept both XLR and quarter-inch cables, so the guitar and microphone can be plugged directly in. The user can have individual level control and EQ for both the guitar and the vocal mic, including the high-pass filters we were talking about. And this would be the application of the full range preset that we have. Now we're going to go ahead and expand this one a little bit. This is like a really great setup for, coffee houses, pubs, musicians, and basically any place where you need background music as well as the ability to add in a performer. We have the same connections for the guitar and microphone, and have added a second speaker with the dedicated mixed output to get those signals to that second speaker. And then we can add in an iPhone or iPad with Bluetooth, and that way we can have wireless stereo playback and control of the speakers. This is a great option. That way, the employees could use the house iPad to go ahead and stream background music and all that. And as soon as the performer gets there, he can still go ahead and plug into the speakers directly, set himself up, and just go ahead and go and just fade in the background music in between sets as needed. The next system takes a feed from a stereo source, such as a mixing console, where multiple instruments and musicians need to be routed through the system. 2 XLR cables are used from the stereo output of the console, one routed to the left loudspeaker, the second to the right. In addition, a Bluetooth-capable device, such as a smartphone, can be paired to one of the cabinets, and the 2 cabinets linked in stereo mode so that the walk-in music can be routed directly to the loudspeakers. This means that the rest of the system can be set up upon arrival at the venue and broken down after the artists are done, and you can have the background music going as long as possible. This is really useful, so you can go in and really just throw up a couple speakers, get your background music going from an iPad or your phone, and give yourself a bit more time to get the band set up, get the console and everything going. It's not dependent on getting the desk up and running and everything patched for outputs and whatnot before you can even get sound out of the system. So that's one of those useful features of the Bluetooth that you really don't know you need until you got it. Now we're adding in some subwoofers. XLRs feed the outputs of the console to each top box, one routed to the left, the second to the right. The mix output of the XP15s is then used to link down to the subwoofers. It's also possible to connect to the subs first and link up to the XP15. However, it's important to remember that the mix out on all XP products is post any gain or EQ changes. So for example, if you apply some additional gain to the subs, this gain is also going to appear on the inputs of the XP15. So just take that into consideration. This is why we recommend setting up your tops and getting those dialed in with level first, and then bringing the subs into that after. There are 2 other ways to configure a system to avoid this possibility. The first would be to use a pair of XLR splitters or Y cables to route the same signal to both, so any adjustments will be will take upon both speakers and subs. And the other option is just to do an independent bus feed. In addition to a Bluetooth device such as a phone, you can hook that up to one XP15 and the cabinet's linked in stereo mode so that the walk-in music can be routed directly to the system. Any need for cables or getting the mixer up and running until you're done setting up. Once again, just find you a little bit more time and convenience. All right, now let's get into the wireless connectivity. To pair a Bluetooth enabled device, you're going to go ahead and go to the Bluetooth menu. It's simple and intuitive. Like I said, it connects just like any other pair of headphones or anything that you've ever connected your phone to. You're going to use the encoder to select pair and click it in. Not paired text will change to discoverable and pair will change to cancel. And your Bluetooth device should now show the XP12 or XP15 under discoverable devices in the Bluetooth menu. And once again, just connect to it like you would any other device on your smartphone or tablet. The screen will next show that the devices are paired, and the next option the text will show is to actually disconnect from the device. To link two speakers together, just select connect and with the encoder and press that in, and it will change the not linked under the it will go ahead and become discoverable, and you can then pair it with another speaker. On the device is searching, select connect under the same menu, and on the second XP speaker to link them. Now the devices will be linked. One will be primary and the other will be secondary, and it will change to a disconnect function instead of a pair. And link speakers can be set as a stereo system or as separate zones. The primary speaker can be set to either left or right in this menu as well. To change to a zone system, use the encoder, scroll to mode and select zone on the primary XP speaker. And remember, the user can set a preference to auto connect and auto link in the settings menu for these speakers as well, so you don't have to do this every time. Now let's get into the control software. This stuff's really cool. XP Connect, here it is with one connected speaker. We have mute control of all the inputs and outputs. We'll have input and output signal level visualizations. These will be full faders when you're connected to only one speaker. As you can see, it's taking up this whole area here next to it. And this will give us quick access to EQ and settings. Once we have two connected, we'll have the option of going between stereo and zone modes in here. We'll still have mute control of all the input and output channels, and we'll still have input signal present indicator. So instead of that full meter, it'll just be a signal present light. And we'll still have the same quick access to all the EQ and settings on both speakers. Each channel does have that 3-band EQ that we're talking about. This is what it looks like in the app, as well as a high-pass filter. And there's easy navigation. You see that you can always see the main output fader as well as the channel that you're currently in. And there are those arrows up at the top of the EQ menu to easily scroll between channel EQs. Here are the different presets that you could select between. If you're connected to a full range speaker, you'll have the full range sub or floor monitor. If you're connected to a sub, it'll give you the option of XP15 or XP12 pairing. The Bluetooth menu is also available in here. This is where you could set up stereo or zone, and you can see it goes from one stereo fader to two independent faders for each speaker. And this is where we could turn on our auto connect and auto link, as well as unlink them if we need to. And we can also restore and recall up to 3 snapshots. The recall is quick and seamless as long as you don't have anything muted in a snapshot, or you know, you don't recall one where fader's down. It's seamless seamless audio between snapshots. And we also have the button to restore to factory default here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for these guys. Once again, a really great speaker that's kind of punching in well above its weight class for how capable they are. And we do have Ben and myself here to answer any questions that you may have. So if you want to go ahead and type away, we will start answering them now. So want to thank you guys for coming out and, well, I guess coming to your computers and learning a little bit about our Blackline XP series. I really hope you guys have the chance to hear them soon if you haven't already. They're a really amazing musical speaker that sounds just like the rest of the Martin line that you've come to expect. If you do have any questions or want to learn more, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, technical@martin-audio.com. And yeah, thank you very much. And please join us for our upcoming webinars. Please check them out on our website. Have a great day, everyone.